Hey everybody, it's Evan Raynday Rayner here from GenG Team Bumble. Welcome to a new season of Next Gen presented by Bumble. In this series, we're going to be going into the origins of our brand new Valorant players on GenG Team Bumble and talking a little bit about what's going on with them and what they're doing in their careers. And first up, we are joined by streamer, content creator extraordinaire. If you know GenG, you know who she is, but maybe if you're just joining us from somewhere else, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. We've got Nikki with us, and Nikki, go ahead and just explain yourself, introduce yourself to the world here for this video.
My name is Nikki Taylor. I'm a singer, I'm a streamer. I play League of Legends almost every day. I sang a couple of the songs that are in League of Legends. I've been opening lots of Pokemon cards on my stream lately. That's an awesome time. Been playing some Valorant. Not great, but having a good time. That's what I'm about.
I had no idea you had sung. What song do you sing in League of Legends?
I sang Vi's theme song, and I also sang the world's theme song for 2015. Wow,
there you go. So I'm sure a bunch of Spotify's or Apple Musics are opening up right now. Definitely some Google searches to hear that, because that's awesome. That's really exciting, especially since you stream that game as well. That's a really cool experience. What does it mean to you to be a part of Team Bumble, GenG? What's your experience been like overall?
I mean, it's just been a whole bunch of fun. I've made a lot of friends. I mean, I'm not a super social person, so being on a team really forces me to be social and talk to people. But it's a fun thing. I'm glad that I'm forced to do that. Also, everyone is just so nice and welcoming. I'm glad that I'm here for the long haul for 2021.
To me, like, there's so many diverse, I guess, pathways GenG is going, and I think creating and pulling diversity through the intention of we want to champion diversity, whether it's an all-female Valorant team that's obviously a big part of this year. What in your mind has kind of stood out to you as far as GenG's role in bringing diversity and teaming up with Bumble as well and kind of championing those things that sometimes you don't really see often in the gaming industry at large?
I mean, GenG's definitely had a huge role in bringing a lot of women to the forefront. I know a lot of people, like you said, associate me with GenG. You think GenG, you think cool girl streamers, you think cool girl pro players. It's a cool thing. It's not something that you associate with a whole lot of other orgs, so it's cool to be a part of something that's pretty different.
Nikki, it's been so good hanging out. I mean, anything else where people find you or what you're doing?
Well, always streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/NickiTaylor. I mean, that's the best place to find all the goods, I guess. Nikki Taylor on almost everything else: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. There it be. That's it.
Go ahead, introduce yourself, man. Let everybody know who you are.
Absolutely. My name's Nathan Stanz, and I'm the general manager of the GEN.G VALORANT team, as well as Team Bumble.
I gotta ask, GenG's been making a lot of steps to be more inclusive this year, specifically with their goals, and I think you've been participating in that. But could you expand a little bit more on, what GenG is doing in 2021 to head down a more inclusive path?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been at GenG since its inception for the last 3 years, and one of the things that we've always tried to be at the forefront of was inclusive gaming. It was very easy for our founders who came from the gaming space and mobile gaming to look and say, like, women, girls, everyone is playing games, and so why is this space not inclusive for them? And so as we launched our first teams in the US, we thought, let's get some women's only teams in Fortnite. Let's pair them with the best players in the world. Let's make sure that they have the same opportunities so that we can do that. And as we get bolder and as the organization grows, we're able to do more. We're able to provide scholarships for not only women, but other people who are maybe not as included in the gaming community. We're able to found more teams. We're able to partner with some leagues that we're in our others. So for example, we're with Riot, where we have a team in the LCK, but they put out Valorant, and we say, this is a great opportunity. We're going to have multiple Valorant teams. We're going to let women be on our Valorant teams. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we are pushing gaming.
Talk to me why GenG has been so focused on Valorant this year.
So everyone has been focused on Valorant. I think there's 2 reasons. One, it's a fun game. Everyone, we talked about liking to game. I actually had to jump out of a Valorant game before this interview just because I was playing it in my spare time. And for 2, like I mentioned earlier, Riot is such a trusted partner. We know that they're going to do everything they can to help us succeed as an esports team, to help our players succeed, to make sure that everyone is, making money, living a stable life, having a career in their game, and it's only the beginning. We've seen the marketing they've done around new character releases or their tournaments. They've allowed not only our players, but our streamers to get behind the scenes looks and create new content beforehand. It just seems like they are putting in the work, Riot Games that is, and we want to make sure that we are matching that passion and fervor so that as the scene grows, we can grow with them.
And I guess let's look at the Valorant roster. We mentioned two aspects of it, and when you're looking at that full Valorant female team, what stood out to you as far as your selection for that? As far as what were the qualities you were looking for in women who were going to be on that team, and why, again, just honing into, was it important to make that roster a reality?
I want to give a special shout out to Riot here, because as they were launching Valorant and creating the competitive ecosystem, they told us that, hey, every team can have one team. We don't want any competitive integrity issues. You can't have two teams that might play in the same tournament. But they made an exception for if an organization wants to also field a women's team. And they did that because they feel it's important that they actually get their shot. That a lot of these women are playing the game, they're solo queuing, but they haven't been able to find their way onto these top rosters just because the rosters unfortunately aren't looking at them in the same way that they're looking at male players. And so when we saw that, we thought this is our opportunity to jump in. How are we going to find these players?
And it's just giving that idea, that idea lights so many fires, I think, in girls and women, I would imagine, around the world who are seeing that going, okay, so this is just a sign of what's happening now. The future is anything is possible. And now I want to talk about Koosta, because Koosta's a guy we're going to have a chance to chat with a little bit later after you, Nate. But I want to know, what made Koosta stand out to you guys when you were looking at that roster?
Towards the end of his career on GenG CSGO, he was evolving from this kind of lurk-specific style to being our in-game leader. And he was taking on the burden of responsibility as we went to more tournaments, prepared strategies. And it just feels like such a match made in heaven that Koosta can come in with all this institutional knowledge from CSGO, not to mention gun skill, and give it to our players who, while they played CSGO beforehand, maybe didn't quite make it all the way to the top of Tier 1, but have been a little more Valorant endemic, especially players like Sean. So Koosta and Sean are actually both in New York. Sean is 19 years old. Koosta's been playing professional games for a long time. This is Sean's first professional game. I just think there's a world where he brings the best of the CSGO world and rigid, more structured gameplay to a team that's free-flowing, fun, and has been fragging out.
But I'm excited to check in with him a little bit later in this episode as well. For now, Nate, thank you so much for spending time with us today and chatting. It's been great to hear your insights and everything going on your side of things with Valorant and with GenG.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to be on.
All right, so we just finished talking with Nate, and he had a lot of good things to say about this gentleman joining us right here. We've got Koosta in the building. And Koosta, thanks for taking time. I know there's a lot of fans out there who know exactly what you do and what you've been doing, but for those who may just be tuning in and don't exactly know who you are, go ahead and introduce yourself for us.
Yeah, my name is Kenneth. I go by Koosta in game. I'm 24, live in New York, and I just recently switched to Valorant from GenG CS team.
Well, listen, we got a lot of Valorant to talk about, but, coming from CS, that's a big deal as well. I also want to get into that, what the transition has been like. But, there's new agents always coming out into one of the biggest esports and one of the biggest games in the world right now. I want to know, what agent have you been playing in scrims thus far?
I've mostly been playing Cypher and a little bit of Killjoy because that's what the team needed when I joined. So that's just what I started to play in ranked, and transitioning into scrims, I've just been playing Sentinel the whole time.
Has that been something that you did for the team, or is that kind of where your natural instincts would have lied? More the Cyphers, the Killjoys? Was that really just doing something for the team, or do you have another maybe primary character that you feel like, okay, I'm done scrimming. This is where I really like playing?
Definitely the role I'm in kind of fits, especially on Cypher. You can kind of set up somewhere and rotate off, and that's pretty much what I was doing in CS, rotating a lot and trying to read the opponent. I would go towards the edges of the map and just try to maintain control and play off of my teammates.
It's cool that you have those conversations already, and I think it sets up our next question that a lot of people are interested in, which is, how was it making that transition from CSGO to Valorant, and what piqued your interest to do it in the first place? Obviously, there's a lot of relationships, and dynamics between both games that they share, but I want to hear in your words, Koosta, what really kind of got you thinking, maybe Valorant is the game that I want to move into after CSGO?
The landscape of Counter-Strike in North America has been looking pretty lackluster the past couple of years. There's not really any more local LANs or online cups that people play in that I used to love playing when I was coming up in the scene, I guess you could say. So it's kind of harder for new talent to break through, and therefore, like, the amount of teams in North America in Counter-Strike, it's pretty much just Liquid and EG, especially after everyone moved to Valorant. So I feel like my hands were kind of tied. I know some people on my team were thinking about moving to Europe and joining European teams, but I don't think that was the move for me. I'm pretty attached to my life in New York here, so I wanted to stick around in North America.
Was there anything specific as to why Valorant? I mean, you could have played for, I'm sure, and tried out for a lot of other teams, but, you know, what was it about GenG and their Valorant team that kind of got your interest as well?
I just had a great time working with GenG and Counter-Strike. I think they're a really good org. The management is great. We all get along, I think. I hope. And yeah, just my interactions with everyone at the org has been very good, and I just wanted to stick around and support them if I could, and maybe get that back as well.
That's awesome, man. It's definitely very family oriented, I think, and so professional as far as the management too, that we all feel taken care of. But I want to know, there's a new challenge, not only just jumping into a new team, a new game, but getting to know your teammates. You have to do it a little differently this time around. There's not really a lot of easy lands or, you know, training camps without everybody getting COVID tested and really isolating, and especially if you're going to go back to an environment that has family members. So how has it been for you in this world we live in, getting to know a lot of your teammates just through online? Has that eased the process? Has it been something you've found naturally goes well for you, or has there been some difficulties in making that, like, full human connection, really that full teammate bond yet, because it's not so easy to have those personal interactions right now?
I think it's hard to actually build like a deeper bond without being in person, but you know, I've been playing games my whole life online, and I think it's pretty natural to me at this point to be able to establish like good and fun rapport with people I meet online. So it's been fun. We've been joking around and just having fun. Really,
for me, when you find that person that you like clicking with, or maybe it's somebody who has a role that kind of connects with yours in the team, is there somebody who fills that as far as a personality that, in your eyes, Koosta, just stands out to you, or is maybe you click really well with on the team right now that has kind of helped you to, you know, find that place? Maybe not your best buddy, but somebody who you say, you know, this personality really does, you know, give me energy, or I really feel like it's a big part of my experience on the team.
Yeah, I think honestly everyone has been doing a really good job of kind of bringing me in. We just, like I said, we just joke around a lot, and as far as out of the game, like, that's kind of how it goes. In game, I feel like I have a lot of chemistry with Michael, play a lot of sites together, and I feel like we are kind of on the same page without talking a lot of the time.
I'm really excited for you, though, and I want to know, what do you think 2021 holds for you? I mean, whether as a team or individually, do you have any goals that you're working forward or towards? I mean, it could be personal, it could be team-oriented, like I said. It could be health-wise, you know, but what are you kind of working for? What's Koosta's 2021 look like?
For me right now, I'm still pretty new to the game. I've only been playing for around 2 weeks. So my #1 goal is just to become more comfortable with the mechanics. Like movement and stuff is very similar to Counter-Strike, but there are different things that you can kind of abuse to get more of an advantage when you're fighting someone. And those are some of the things I've yet to master. So that's one of my personal goals. Honestly, I've just been trying to improve myself as a Valorant player. So I haven't been thinking about the team too much, but I have been trying to add a little more structure to the way we play, and just trying to promote conversation. I think that's gonna be a team goal coming up, is just trying to promote healthy conversation where we can criticize each other but are willing to learn from each other without having our feelings hurt.
That's awesome, man. That's a great goal, and we look forward to watching you guys succeed this year, grow, and make some great memories that hopefully we all remember for years to come. Awesome, man. Well, Koosta, thanks so much for hanging out with us and spending some time on today's episode. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone, for watching Next Gen. We appreciate all the love and support you have all given to GenG, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.